In this problem, we are to graph the function f of x equals 2 times the sine of the quantity pi over 3 times x. So in my example, we have an amplitude change, so a is 2, and we have a period change, b is pi over 3, but we have no vertical shift. So what we're going to do here is, this is the graph of the sine function with no amplitude change and no period. So first off, we need to graph a sine function that has an amplitude of 2 rather than 1. So to do this, I'm going to click on the second icon, and I'm going to click at the origin here, graph a sine function, and make it go as high as 2 and as low as -2. And move this up a little bit because this low point is too low. Grab this and put it right to the origin. And I think that is about right. Now the problem is I got to get my period right. As graphed right now, the period is about 3, and it's not supposed to be 3. So let's take a look at this and see what it's supposed to be. If you look at this, we have that the b is pi over 3. So if I was to substitute b equals pi over 3, I'd get that the new period for the sine function, normally it's exactly 2 pi radians. This is actually going to come up to close to 2 pi, but not exactly. The period is 2 pi over b, where b in my example is pi over 3. So that becomes the complex fraction 2 pi over 1 over pi over 3. So sometimes it's helpful to think of the 2 pi as over 1. In math, if you're dividing two fractions, you can change the division into a multiplication here, and you reciprocate the second fraction. So instead of pi over 3, it would be 3 over pi. So when you do this, you get the pi's to simplify out. Pi divided by pi is 1. And you get the period is 2 times 3, or 6, which is a little bit deceptive because it looks like we have no period change at all. But remind yourself that normally b is 1. And when b is 1, the period is exactly 2 pi, which isn't 6. It's a little bit more than 6. So at any rate, we are going to slide this over so that my period is 6, but exactly 6, not 2 pi, but 6 rather. So here it is starting at the origin. It goes up, hits the x-axis the first time here, the second time there. So right now we've got the period to be 3. We need to move that over to 6. So the second x-intercept needs to be moved over here to 6. With this icon, what you do is you can grab this top dot here and move it to the right. And be careful not to change the amplitude too much. We still want the amplitude to be 2. So keeping the amplitude at 2, but moving it over so that the second x-intercept is right there. So here I get one full cycle of the sine function in exactly 6 units. So if this was the number 1, which it roughly is, I mean pi is 3.14, and 3.14 over 3 is roughly 1, but if it was exactly 1, then the period would be 2 pi, which would be about right over here. So since this isn't exactly 1, it's just close to 1, our period didn't come out to pi, it came out to be 6. So I'm going to submit my answer. You're not going to see it, but I get credit 1 out of 1 for this graph.